The story begins with a young worker who dies in a traffic accident and is reincarnated as a baby in another world. He was raised and given the name Shin Wolford by the former hero Merlin Wolford. Shin was raised as his grandson and was taught various kinds of magic. Not only that, Shin also learned magic equipment from her grandmother named Melinda Wolford, a former hero. Shin also trained in martial arts with the former knight commander named Michel, so that Shin always received training from them and made himself very strong. When Shin was 10 years old, Merlin invited him to hunt demons in the forest. Merlin teaches about the magic of detecting evil auras to track the whereabouts of demons. Unexpectedly, Shin managed to master it quickly and find the demon's location. The demon takes the form of a forest bear, and then Shin fights the bear demon alone and uses all his fighting skills to defeat the demon. Finally, Shin managed to beat him. At the same time, Merlin became amazed to see Shin's fighting ability. After that, Merlin explained that he was not Shin's grandfather. It turned out that his parents had been attacked by a bear demon while passing through the forest. But Shin managed to survive the attack until Merlin finally found him and decided to take good care of him. Whereas Shin already knew that because he had memories from his previous life. When Shin was 15 years old, the Earlshire king named Daisium. He was guarded by royal guards to visit Shin's place. They all celebrated Shin being an adult, but Shin never came out of the forest, and even Merlin didn't teach about general knowledge. At the same time, he did not know that great people surrounded him. After that, Shin used teleportation magic or gate magic to take them to an empty place, where Shin wanted to show them the results of his magic training. They hesitated to let Shin enter the kingdom because Shin's strength was so strong. However, the king advised Shin to enter a magic school in his kingdom. Shin accepted it and went to the capital with his grandparents. They will live in a luxurious house and be greeted by servants. Then Shin casually walked around the city, but suddenly he got lost and met a thug seducing two women. Shin immediately saved them by beating up all the thugs. After that, Shin was fascinated when he saw the beauty of a girl. Then they introduced themselves, namely Maria and Cicely. Incidentally, they also intended to enter a magic school. Therefore, Shin wanted to become good friends with them. Meanwhile, Cicely blushed when she shook hands with Shin. It was sure that she had developed a crush on Shine. Then the day of the entrance exam, when in the schoolyard there is a student named Kurt trying to injure Shin, but Shin quickly incapacitates him. He used his status as a noble to threaten Shin, but the royal prince came to stop Kurt. His name is August. After that, Kurt immediately left, but he was very annoyed with Shin. Then Shin was surprised when he found out that August was a prince, and August was happy when Shin thought of him as a cousin. Then the school entrance examination begins. After completing the written exam, they will conduct a practical exam. The supervisor asked Shin to hold back his strength so that the place would not be destroyed. Even though he had withheld his power, but Shin accidentally destroyed the area. After that, Shin got first place in the entrance exam for the magic school until he had to give a speech on the first day of school. Then at night, Shin tries to strengthen his school uniform by adding high-level protection and healing magic. So Melinda was surprised to see Shin's uniform, which had been strengthened to be on par with a kingdom's national treasure. Then Shin gave a speech in front of all the students and attended by the kingdom's nobles. Cicely and Maria were shocked when they discovered that Shin was the grandson of two heroes. Meanwhile, Kurt is annoyed and wants revenge on Shin. After that, Shin will be in Class S with the others. Then Cicely tells him that he has rejected Kurt's engagement, but Kurt threatens him to accept the engagement. Knowing that, Shin and August stopped Kurt's deeds and reported them to his parents. Then Shine took them to his house to ask Merlin with Melinda. Shin wanted to add protection and healing magic to Cicely's uniform to protect it from harm. After Melinda made sure that Cicely was a good and honest person, in the end, Melinda made sure that Sept protection from Shin. Not only that, August along with his bodyguards were also given reinforced uniforms. Shin even drove them home using gate magic, so they became speechless seeing Shin's strength that had exceeded human limits. The next day, Shin picked Cicely up to go to school while making out on the street. Then the students were asked to join study groups, but Shin had no idea about study groups. Then August suggested Shin make his study group, and the other students agreed. As a result, a magic research study group was formed. On the other hand, the king and the knight commanders received information that the number of demons was increasing every day. Therefore, the king ordered to increase defense and investigation of the incident. On the other hand, Kurt went crazy in front of his father, so his father locked Kurt in the room. After that came a teacher named Strom Oliver. Strom used magic to turn Kurt into a demonic human and ordered him to attack Shin. Meanwhile, Shin told his friends that he killed a demon when he was 10 years old. After that, suddenly, Shin felt a demonic aura around him. It turned out that Kurt had become strong with his demonic powers, and he was trying to kill them there. As a result, Shin used barrier magic to block the attack to protect his classmate. Even though his hand was badly injured, his uniform contained healing magic. After that, Shin asked his friends to stay away, so that Shin could fight Kurt. Shin tried to destroy the demonic magic to save him, but Kurt used magic that could destroy the entire school. As a result, Shin had no choice to kill him. The next day, Shin felt strange because Kurt had suddenly become a demon, but at the same time, Kurt still had consciousness like a human. So Shin theorizes that someone has made Kurt into a demonic human experiment. After Shin defeated the demonic human, he became famous throughout the kingdom. So the students wanted to join Shin's magic research group, but a teacher tests students to qualify to join the magic research group. As a result, only 2 students will enter. They are named Mark, the son of a blacksmith, and Olivia, the daughter of a famous restaurant owner. Then Shin asked Mark to make him a sword that could make it easier for him in battle. Mark also accepted it and immediately made a sword for Shin. On the other hand, the security forces suspected that Strom was the manipulator behind the demonic humans. Strom was saddened by the death of Kurt, even though Kurt's name was never made public. Because Strom knew that Kurt was a demonic human, the security forces immediately took him to a place and was surrounded by royal soldiers along with magicians. However, Strom easily beat them. Unexpectedly, Shin and his friends were in that place. After finding out that Strom was the manipulator of the demonic human, Shin immediately attacked him and made Strom's eye patch shatter. It turns out that Strom is a demonic human with complete control over demonic powers. Then Shin used powerful magic with the help of sunlight to defeat Strom. So that attack turned the sand floor into glass. Seeing that, of course, the knight commander and the kingdom's mages were amazed. But Shin made sure that Strom escaped from there. Then Shin headed to Marx's house to design a new sword to make it easier if his sword always broke on the battlefield later. On the other side of the empire, one of Strom's underlings was named Zest. He carried out his cunning plan so the empire could go to war with the Earlshide kingdom. In the end, both sides began to prepare for battle. On the other hand, Shin decided to buy a ring for Cicely. Of course, it made Cicely feel happy because she thought Shin wanted to marry her. However, it turned out that Shin wanted to add protection magic to the ring to make Cicely's defense even stronger. After that, Shin would help his classmates get stronger, but many still needed to understand the basics of magic. Therefore, Shin showed some of the magic energy he could control. After that, Shin asked them to train how to control magic energy first, so that the capacity of magic energy would increase. On the other hand, Strom survived Shin's attacks, but he was badly injured. Then there was a woman called Maria, who was responsible for guarding Strom and preparing an attack plan. Then Shin brought his classmate to meet Merlin with Melinda. They were inspired when Merlin explained that they could master magic like Shin. For example, Merlin showed that he could use gate magic like Shin. Then the Empire suffered defeat during the war because the Earlsheed Kingdom already knew about their attack plan. As a result, Imperial troops trying to cross the border were attacked by royal troops. Then there was the information that demon beasts had attacked the Imperial capital. Knowing that, the Imperial troops rushed back to the capital, but the capital was been destroyed. When the Emperor returned to his castle, he was suddenly intercepted by Strom. It seemed that Strom had a grudge against the Emperor, so Strom killed the Emperor and destroyed the entire empire. After that, the royal army came to the imperial capital and met the imperial people who had turned into demonic humans. But they managed to escape from there, and the royal officials decided to prepare themselves in case the demon army attacked their kingdom. Therefore, the School of Magic students also had to become stronger by training with the School of Knights. The next day, Shin, along with Cicely, August, and Maria, was in a group with 4 knights. Before the battle, they underestimated Shin and the others, but when they fought, they were helpless against the demons. But Shin saved them. So they realized that they were still weak and apologized to the magic school students. After that, many demonic beasts headed toward them, but Shin uses a powerful magic to kill them.
Kenjaの孫にして新たなる英雄の力。
Then their teamwork started to improve, and together they fought the demon beasts. A few days later, Auguste informed Shin that the imperial capital had been destroyed by demon beasts. Not only that, the residents there had been turned into demonic humans. Shin also confirmed that it was Strom's doing. After that, Shin decided to hold a training camp during the summer vacation so that his friends would become stronger and defeat the demonic human in the battle later. Cicely offers them to stay at his family's place, which has a hot spring. Then Shin told Merlin and Melinda about the training camp so they would participate in the training camp as escorts, because Melinda doesn't believe men and women are together without adult supervision. The next day, a training camp was held at the residence of the Cicely nobles. The maids there welcomed them and wished Shin a happy life with Cicely. Then the training camp started. Merlin and Melinda became their trainers in controlling magic energy and learning equipment magic. After that, Shin wanted to try a new magic to fight demonic humans in battle. His friends immediately used barrier magic to avoid being hit by the magic explosion. Shin always cast destructive magic that could level the capital alone, but Melinda scolded Shin for overusing magic. After that, August asked Shin to use gate magic to bring him back to the castle to get the latest information about Demon. Once there, they met a girl who was August's fiancée. She was Elizabeth, and August's sister is named May. It turned out that the two wanted to join the training camp to see Shin practice with the others. Even the king allowed them to see the training camp. Before returning to the training camp, August forced Shin to confess his feelings to Cicely. And Cicely liked him too, even when Cicely accidentally expressed her desire to have a child with Shin. After hearing that, Shin met Cicely. Then Shin confessed his love for Cicely. Even Cicely admitted that he loved her too. In the end, they officially became lovers, but their friends suddenly appeared at the venue. The next day, they practiced playing beach volleyball to improve their ability to control magic energy. After that, they discussed their childhood at night. Suddenly, Merlinda came to tell them to sleep, but they all hid and Shin accidentally squeezed Cicely's boobs. The next day, Cicely invites Shin to meet her parents. And when they get there, Shin tells her that they have become lovers. Her parents were happy to hear that, so they asked Shin and Cicely to get engaged. Shin also accepted and would be engaged to Cicely. Then they returned to the training ground. This time, Shin created a floating magic that allowed him to fly freely, but none of his classmates understood Shin's explanation. After Merlin and Melinda met Cicely's parents, they explained that Shin was not their biological grandson. However, Cicely's parents still accept Shin as Cicely's fiancé because Shin has proven his determination to protect Cicely from harm. Then Shin created a uniform with advanced magic equipment to protect them all from harm during the demon hunt. After that, Shin and the others trained against demon beasts in the forest. It is certain that they have become powerful and defeat demonic humans alone during battle. Then Shin's engagement ceremony with Cicely was attended by his classmates and important people from the kingdom, including the king. After the event, Shin romantically asked Cicely to marry him until finally they kissed each other. On the other hand, Strom managed to destroy entire cities in the empire and turned the commoners into demonic humans to kill the nobles in the empire. Then Strom told why he hated the imperial nobles so much. 2 years ago, Strom was a noble who would become the emperor's heir. Strom was very kind to ordinary people and lived happily with his pregnant wife, but Strom's actions irritated the nobles in the capital because the nobles looked down on the commoners. So the nobles kidnapped women to be sold as slaves using Strom's carriage so that the commoner hates Strom, and burned down Strom's house, then killed his pregnant wife. Whereas Strom saw his wife's death, Strom really hated the people of the empire. In the end, it made Strom turn into a powerful demonic human, and that's how villains are made. After Strom had achieved his goal of destroying the empire, his subordinates named Lawrence and Zest intended to make Strom obtain a new goal, to fight with Shin Wolford. They planned to attack the kingdom of Swede on the border of Earlside Kingdom, for Shin and his friend to come there. On the other hand, during Prince August's coronation ceremony, they received information that demonic humans had attacked the Swede kingdom. Knowing this, Shin and the others intend to go there and introduce themselves as the ultimate magician, a special force capable of defeating demonic humans. Then Shin and the others arrive at Swede's kingdom and fight with the demonic human. They pair up around town to defeat the roaming demonic humans. At the same time, Cicely was healing the injured victims in a safe place. After training with Shin earlier, they all defeated the demonic human. When Shin slays the demonic humans approaching him, Lawrence intends to find Shin's weakness, but is frightened by Shin's boundless strength. So Lawrence decided to run away from that place. On the other hand, Zest asked Mariah to serve as bait so that Lawrence and the demonic human escape safely. As a result, Maria accepted the request and immediately barged into the city to fight the ultimate magician army. Then Alice and Rin try to fight Maria, even though they have strong strength, but Miria is more experienced in fighting, so they were powerless when facing Miria. On the other hand, Lawrence ordered all demonic humans to retreat, but Shin soon caught up with them and fired powerful magic. Then Shin stopped because he saw the fight on the other side. Yuri and Tony try to save Alice, but they are still amateurs in fighting. Because of that, they were all helpless and quite badly injured. But Shin came to their aid there. Shin and Miria fight each other, and Shin managed to injure Miria. But Miria intended to run away when her friends came by throwing explosion magic at them. As a result, Shin had no choice to protect his injured friends and let Miria escape from the Swede kingdom. Not only that, some of the demonic humans escaped the kingdom of Swede. On the other hand, Strom saw their battle and intended to fight Shin one day. After that, Shin planned to go on an adventure to be able to place their gate magic in various places, so that if a demon attacks, Shin and the others immediately head there with the gate magic. On the other hand, Lawrence, Zest, and Miria feared looking at Strom because they lost badly when fighting Shin with the others. Then Strom was doing his latest experiment, and it seemed Strom had impregnated Miria to give birth to a very powerful demonic human. If this experiment were successful, all demonic humans would be ordered to have children and produce very strong demon to fight Shin. On the other hand, Shin and his friends travel together to see the world. And that's the end of the video, so I'll see you in the next video.